All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're looking at a piece of tech that's absolutely vital for any solar power system, the inverter. And we're going to focus on a global giant that's become a huge favorite for Aussies, Sungrow. So, is it the smart choice for you? Let's figure it out.
So, you're thinking about going solar. Fantastic. You've probably spent ages looking at panels, figuring out your roof space, and dreaming about those tiny electricity bills. But have you really thought about the one component that actually decides how much of that beautiful sunshine powers your home?
Well, that's where the inverter comes in. Think of it as the brain of your entire solar setup. Your panels, they do the heavy lifting, capturing sunlight and making DC electricity. But it's the inverter that does the clever bit, converting it into the AC electricity that runs your fridge, your TV, everything.
Yeah, exactly. Without a good brain, the whole system just doesn't work as well as it should. That's why we're really going to focus on it here. Now, here's the thing that's so interesting. While the panels on the roof get all the glory, it's the inverter that really determines how efficient your system is. A top-notch inverter squeezes every last drop of energy from your panels. A cheap one, it can be a massive bottleneck, just wasting that precious solar power. So let me be clear, your choice of inverter is just as important, maybe even more important than the panels you pick.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's talk about one of the biggest names in the inverter world, Sungrow. Sungrow is definitely not the new kid on the block. They were founded way back in 1997, and they've been here in Australia since 2012. But just look at their growth. By 2020, they had 154 gigawatts of installed capacity around the world. Just a few years later, in early 2023, that number had more than doubled to over 340 gigawatts. Wow, that is some seriously explosive growth. And to give you an idea of just how big that is, Sungrow holds about a 15% slice of the entire global solar inverter market. They are a massive, massive player. And, that kind of scale brings a ton of experience and some serious R&D power. And what's great is that this global power translates right down to us here in Australia. They've built up this fantastic reputation for being super reliable, and they're backed by actual local support right out of their office in North Sydney. Having that on-the-ground presence, that's a huge deal for peace of mind. Okay, so what are they actually selling? Let's break down Sungrow's inverter lineup for us Aussies. You can see they've really thought about who's buying their stuff. For your typical home with single-phase power, you've got the RS series. It's compact, efficient, gets the job done. Got a bigger place with three-phase power? The RT series is for you, with multiple inputs for really stable performance. Now, if you're thinking about batteries, and a lot of us are, the SH series is their hybrid line, designed specifically to store that extra energy. And for businesses, they've got the heavy-duty CX series for big commercial jobs. And here's what one actually looks like. This is that RS series inverter, one of the most popular models you'll see on homes around Australia. It's got a clean, simple design, but trust me, the real magic is what's packed inside. All right, let's pop the hood and see what makes these things tick. We're talking performance and the key features that make Sungrow such a tough competitor. Yeah, you can look at a spec sheet and see a bunch of numbers and industry jargon, but what does that actually mean for you as a homeowner? Let's translate it into plain English. This right here, this is probably the single most important number, efficiency. Sungrow inverters can hit a maximum efficiency of up to 98.4%. So what does that mean? It's simple. For every 100 watts of power your panels produce, over 98 of those watts make it into your house as usable electricity. Less waste equals more savings. Simple as that. But there's more. Their SH series is hybrid ready, which means you can add a battery right away or wait and add one later. You get to be a data nerd with their iSolar Cloud app and track every single watt. They're built tough for our crazy Aussie climate. That high IP rating means they can handle the heat and the rain. Plus, they run quiet, which is a big plus. And maybe most importantly, it's all backed by a standard 10-year warranty with that local support we keep talking about. Okay, all that tech sounds fantastic, but we all know what it really comes down to, don't we? Let's talk dollars and cents and give a final verdict. All right, the big question on everyone's mind, what is a Sungrow inverter actually going to set you back? So here's a rough guide for 2025 pricing. As you can see, there's a pretty big range. You're looking at maybe around $580 for a smaller unit, but that can go all the way up past $4,000 for a powerful 10 kilowatt hybrid model that's ready for a massive battery. The main takeaway here is that they're competitive right across the board, offering really strong value for money.
You know, I think this quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. Sungrow offers a brilliant balance of performance, price, and intelligent technology. It's not trying to be the super premium, expensive European brand, but it's also not a cheap, corner-cutting budget option. It just absolutely nails that sweet spot in the middle.
Which, of course, brings us all the way back to the start. After looking at the company, the tech, and the price, is Sungrow really the smart choice for Australia? Here's the bottom line. If you're looking for that perfect balance, rock-solid performance, a fair price, and proven tech from a global leader with actual local support, then yes, Sungrow is a really, really strong contender. For a home or a business, it's a brand that absolutely deserves to be on your shortlist as you make your move to clean energy.